Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Lobotomy Corporation reaction. Today we have Malkuth, I think that's how you say his name, his core Suppression theme. This is in two different songs and two different parts. I will be playing both of them back to back and then giving my overall thoughts on them. There'll probably be a pause between there for me to change the video, but otherwise I'm going to try making it as seamless as I can in the edit. But this was thrown into the queue by Patreon Quirky Person, and I had to get to something Project Moon today anyway, so I figured why not two birds with one stone, and I guess that also counts for the songs I'll be listening to. So without further ado, let's go. Oh. We're starting with that atmospheric thing again. I both love and hate how those, like, whispers are mixed in there. I don't like how they're flossing my brain, but I also really appreciate it. Ooh, oh, that was a minor thing in there. That was a really cool, slight adjustment at the very end of those vocals. Made everything feel wrong so quick, and then it got out of there. That was neat. I beg your pardon. It's like Complexter out of nowhere. Actually can't tell if that's Complextro or breakcore. Might be a little bit of both. Those two always kind of sounded similar to me, genre-wise. Oof. God, the atmosphere is so good in these. And we're back. God, those underlying layers of the atmosphere are just insane. Now I'm trying to piece together the story a little bit, like thinking through how the song is made and why certain things are happening. This is a different approach. I mean, we're still starting in that, like, low and slow atmosphere, but the song is overall more vibey, like, wasn't obvious by the beat here. one doesn't feel like a battle theme. The last one kind of felt like it might be. So if this is still the same meltdown, which I only have a loose idea, this might be like the before or the after of that moment, because it really doesn't feel like this would be playing during a fight. The atmosphere is still obviously there. I mean, Tilarids has never had bad atmosphere in any of their work. But it's just a different atmosphere. I can't place where that would be if it's a meltdown scenario, so I've got to assume that that's like before or after. That was way different. So I'm going to assume that the second song is the aftermath of the battle and the first one is the actual meltdown part, because that feels like it was starting in this atmospheric area, then it got really aggressive, and it was a very stress-aggressive sound. So that makes me think that with all of that aggressive synth in there, all of those heavy sawtooth synths, that it's a character going from that atmosphere to that aggressive sound, somebody who is, and again, I know a little bit about the meltdowns and how they work as a general sense due to comments I've read, but this character must be the type of person that's usually really organized and usually very composed, if not maybe very optimistic in their normal life, and then something happened that completely shattered that reality for the split second, and that might be where the meltdown happened and why it happened, where something just so overwhelming or so powerful took over their will to be and is what kind of corrupted them for that moment. I'm not sure if these meltdowns end up in the death of the characters or how that works in the universe, if there's some sort of a redemption that can happen afterwards, but I'm assuming that this character just snapped, doing something that they probably shouldn't have, or being stressed to the point of no return, and that's why the meltdown happened. The way I process how these meltdown situations work personally, at least right now, is that there's some sort of a stress-induced, character-breaking situation in the game, and whatever that may be for that specific person is what triggers these meltdowns, and maybe can come back out of it if they're saved fast enough. Again, I really don't know anything about the gameplay, but that's the vibe I'm getting here, is that the character has a very aggressive time trying to figure out how to handle all this stress, doesn't do that well, falls to whatever is happening in this meltdown moment, and then maybe there's a glimpse of the person still there. There was that second section where it backed off and then went back in. I don't know if that was a break specifically used for like a story moment, or if it is just how the song was structured and that's not how it is in the game. But that feels like there might be a little bit of a lull in there, where there may be a second phase of sorts or something like that. However, the second song is really what gets me, because it changes the tone a little bit more. It feels a little bit more reflective in that moment, like it is a post, and that there isn't like a depressing tone to it. It's definitely a reflective sound where the person themselves is recounting the situation that just happened, and maybe they're looking for the ability to come to terms with what just happened, maybe to better themselves in the future and work towards their goal, whatever it may be, without reaching that point again. You know, it's somebody who just reached their breaking point, was told, hey, stop it, via a fight, and now they're back to where they were with a new lease on life and trying to better themselves and continuing on. The reason that I was getting that sensation was the way that the atmosphere felt in there. It was very mellow, it was very neutral. There wasn't any like weight in either the aggressive or the peaceful side. It was kind of sliding somewhere between, very neutral. And then all of the melodic stuff felt a little bit more bright. There was some nice little trills on the top. It was a little bit more major. It wasn't nearly as minor as I would have expected. There was still some of that in there for flavor, but overall it sounded pretty positive. So I'm assuming that there is a happy ending to this one, and that's kind of why I was figuring there may be a redemption as well. This second song kind of clued me into that thought. I wouldn't have known that if I just heard the one on its own, and that's why I like to listen to these in groups if I can, just depending on if it's realistic in the moment. So really, I think that that's kind of the core of my guess for this character, is that they're somebody who is otherwise pretty punctual and very on top of their game and maybe very proud of who they are, and is not necessarily prideful in a way as much as they are generally happy in their situation most times and confident in it, but they pushed themselves too far. Something happened that made them get to that point. It's possible they did something a little bit uncouth or something that led them to that extreme stress, something they should not have done, like a mad scientist experimenting on themselves, for example, something like that, where everybody else saw that was just like, no, wait, and then the meltdown happened. So they get them back at the end, and I'm assuming that that's where that neutral tone of, okay, that was a bad idea, maybe let's not do that next time, I'm sorry, let's move forward and try to be better. But I think that's about the long and short of my summary there, so if I'm wrong, as per always, let me know down below, or if I'm right, let me know and leave your lore dumps in the comments, and I always end up reading those because I'm a dork for lore dumps. But I hope you enjoyed the video either way, and if you want to see more stuff from Project Moon, especially Lobotomy Corporation, Ruina, any of the game stuff that they do, let me know what songs you want me to get to next, and I will do my best as always. And of course, if you just enjoyed this video and you want to follow me and support me for more in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!